But all right, guys, without further ado, I need to bring us our next guest. Going to add him onto the stream now, Mr. Options Mike. He is back at it with us. What's up, man? Well, welcome back to the Power Hour. How are you doing? Uh-oh. I don't have audio. It could be our fault.
Do you have it now?
There we go. Okay. Wait. Hold on. Before you go, check this out. I have this Who Wants to Be a Millionaire theme that we use when people have audio issues. and we time it. It's a 2-minute clip, and we can sort of count down and see how quickly people get it resolved. But, I mean, you were so fast that I didn't even have time to press it. So
sorry about that. I put myself on mute whenever I come on somewhere behind stage, just in case. Make some noise. I don't know if you come in live or not, so just in case.
Safer than sorrier. I was actually at a live event that we were hosting. Back when you could do live events, there's maybe 1,000 people there or so. And something was screwed up, and I like was still, I had my mic on, and I went backstage, and I just said, like, what the fuck is going on? Or like something along those lines, right? Totally broadcast throughout the whole auditorium. Didn't realize. Somebody else was speaking. It went over their presentation. Yeah, classic.
Congratulations. That's great. I mean, cursing in front of a whole entire audience like that.
Yeah, on accident.
That'll get you done.
Yeah. And so people are throwing Rocket in the chat. Rocket, $36.
Yeah, Rocket. Oh, my God. I mean, talk about a short squeeze that took place there today and yesterday.
And I mean, it's the worst 50% part is today. It's like a 70% 2-day move now.
Well, it gapped up so much today. I didn't want anything to do with it, right? You looked at the overnight and the pre-market action this morning. I'm like, I don't want to touch this thing. And it was going sideways, doing perfect, saying, okay, maybe this will set up for after hours tonight, tomorrow. And then CNBC comes on and they talk about it. And then boom, it's up $4 since they talked, since, $5-6 now since they spoke about it. Yep. And volume coming in. It did have about a 40% short interest coming into today. So, we got to give these Wall Street Bets crew and guys a lot of credit. They've learned how to find weakness in the market. They learned that trying to push things during the day, they get circuit breakers and they get shut down. But after hours, they can push things wherever they want. They did a great job with this name, right? They waited till yesterday afternoon. The market closed. 10 minutes later, there it goes. It just starts to take off.
Yep, absolutely. And here, I thought I had the chart up. I didn't. Look at that chart, guys. This is a 2-day chart. Hell of a 2-day move. I mean, went from 23 to 36, 13 over 23. What is that?
19 to 37, basically, in 3 sessions.
Oh, okay. So, all right. There. See, I got a 2-day chart. I need the 3-day.
Yeah.
All right. So you said 19 to 37. I mean, that's a double.
Yep.
That's a basically away from a double. Okay. All right. So Rocket, you don't have any action on Rocket. It doesn't sound like you're trading that one.
I didn't touch it today. It's interesting. I traded Square a couple times today. Made nice money on Square. And
all right, let's look at that one. What time horizon chart should I pull up? Or do you have charts you want to share with us?
Up to you. You can pull it up.
You do it. My charts are boring. I don't have like lines or indicators. It just, I just have
see what screen it's going to share.
All right. I mean, that's sort of always the question, right? Whenever I share my screen on the Zoom, I'm always a little nervous. Am I going to put up the right screen? Am I going to put up the one where I'm,
I don't know what screen I have.
Gossiping?
I have 6 screens. I don't know where this is going to go.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you never know. Wait. I've got sounds, man. I got the perfect sound for this one. Ready?
Let's see. Let's try this one. Can I do an application window? No. Let's just do it's going to be big. Tell me if this is too big when it comes up.
All right. I'm adding it on now. I'm going to pull mine away. There it is. Let's see. I'm going to hide us. Yeah, I think that works okay. It's a little flashy.
Let me see if I can fix the flash. Hang tight.
Yeah, nice cup. Somebody's saying, there we go.
There we go.
Always important to stay hydrated. All right, there we go. No flashing. We've got the charts up.
Perfect.
All right, so Square.
So on a 5-minute chart, Square last night got my attention when I looked at it again after hours, right? And if you look yesterday, they had news. You see this big spike up here coming up on around 6 o'clock last night. And that was on news that they're getting involved in giving out loans. So you saw this big spike up. Nice. So immediately went on my radar for today, just because, right, you have a big gap up and it held it well. You see, we opened up and we got weak. And if you look over on the top up here, you can see I call from my room flow. Square weekly 260 calls, 5,000 of them came in early. And that got my attention on Square once this market started to reverse. Does that make, once we started to get a little bit of cleanliness here, and you got this nice move off the lows from the 247 all the way up now to the 258 area. And when you look at Square, what made it so exciting today too is you had a couple gaps here that can fill on the daily chart. So we gapped up and we gapped into this gap that actually started right here around the 245 area. And we just filled it up into this area right here to the 257 area. And then you have a gap that starts again at 261, and that goes up towards the 266 area. So for me, I look at this name right now and I'm thinking to myself, okay, traded a bunch today. I'm out for now. Nice move. If we're going to continue, they're all over this on weeklies. I can look for a gap fill to 266 on any strength on this name at this point.
Okay, there we go.
All right. So nice move there. Other action today, GM. I mean, they were all over. This is a daily chart in GM.
Motors. All right. So we talked about Ford earlier on the show, because Ford is ripping, and we're all in that one. GM, it's another stock that I hold too. So I'm curious what you had to say about it.
I love GM. I've been talking about this one for a couple months now to my members. GM here is a EV play now. And that's what everybody has to realize, that they are going to be 100% electric vehicles by the year 2035. GM, Ford, they have something that Tesla's, pick any of these EV companies. What are they all missing? They don't have the ability to service or sell easily, right? They don't have the infrastructure for it. Well, GM and Ford, how many sales rooms do we have everywhere?
Just a shit ton.
Right. So, I mean, these guys are already built into, come in, buy your car. You don't have to go anywhere special. We could service it here. You could take it for a test drive easily here. So they're in great shape. And today, what I didn't get in on it today, I missed it, but the April 60 calls, last count about an hour ago, 32,000 of them had traded. I mean,
Wow.
That's massive amount of call buying. This one's looking to take out this all-time high here, 57, and it can just keep going. I love this name on dips. I wish this market would pull. Jake, Luke, I really do wish this market would yank and give us some better entrances, but this market just refuses to quit, refuses to come back in.
And let me ask you this one: Do you have any particular reason to like GMs for the EV story over Ford? Ford was the name that I picked for the exact same reason that you're saying.
I think GM is further along.
Okay.
I think their vision is more developed. They're putting more money into it. They've already announced big investments and already are putting money to work in it. They've already developed the Hummers coming out this year, and I think we're getting the Bolt. I think it's the Bolt coming out shortly after that. So they're a little further ahead of the game in Ford, and that's the reason I like GM better.
Okay. All right. I like it. The reason why I ended up picking Ford, and again, I wanted some of that, as I call it, EV energy into the stock, was because they basically hinted to us a couple times that they're going to spend a shit ton of marketing dollars this year on it. But yeah, the same thesis. I love both names. Yeah,
and this is why everybody wants to play with the FSRs of the world, and I know FSRs had this massive couple-day run, right?
Yep.
What I keep reminding everybody is this company will not have any revenue until the fourth quarter of 2022. Right? They're not going into production until the fourth quarter of 2022. If you really like this name, wait, it'll come back, right? Because how long are our institutions going to sit in something that doesn't have revenue for a year and a half?
Yes. I'm with you. I don't touch any of those pre-revenue EV ones. I mean, I haven't been right all year, right? We've seen how much action they've gotten, but I'm with you in that those ones have been less exciting to me.
The one that didn't work today was Airbnb. Or whatever it is. They came after it right on the open. They came after the weekly 200 and 210 calls. I mean, literally right on the open. And you can see this 200 area up here where I already have a notification set on it on the 5-minute chart. And it pushed up to there, and it just can't break through. And I was watching on the L2, and you can just see an incredible amount of sellers sitting there on top of this at the 200 level.
Okay.
So if you like Airbnb, and I know if you go to the daily chart, I do like this story, Luke, because right now, this market really wants the reopen plays, right?
Yep.
They're really looking at the reopen. They're not interested in the stay-at-home names anymore. Look at this nice reaction to earnings after it was down, right? Reverse, closed green. This is a great reopen play. So if it can get above 200 with volume, that's the place you want to take a shot on it. All-time highs at 219. That's an easy, quick move if you like that.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the lines that you have on the chart there, and how you use them essentially? What do you put on your chart? How do you use them to help you make decisions?
So this here is just a toss notification. I come in and I set an alert, right? Okay. Create an alert, right? And I put
toss. That's think or swim. So if you're wondering about the platform, TD Ameritrade's think or swim.
Right. So if I said 200, and I recognize that 200 is a big area, I can even put a note long here if I want. And then I come in, I just put a notification up on it. So not only is it visual, it'll also ping and hit my attention when it hits it.
Mhm.
So now I know.
How did you decide on that level in the first place?
For me, if you just look at right here, what's happened at this level: 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, close enough for 9, 10. You got 10 candles that have ping ponged off this area, either wicks, tails, opens, or close. Make sense?
Yep, I get
So
it.
to me, that's a really important area. When I look at it, I can now recognize and say, hey, this is really, really important. I need to pay attention to this spot because this is the place where they're controlling the stock. So if it gets above that on volume, that's where I want to be in it at.
Yep. Okay. All
And
right.
and then the other one was up here near the
So you
highs.
identify that point. The stock keeps getting stopped or tripped up there. It breaks above it. That's your signal to flip long on the name. Is that right?
Yeah, but it has to have volume, right?
Okay.
So like if you look at, what I do is I go to a 5-minute chart. If you look at the volume here and say, okay, it's at 95% average daily volume today. That's not bad, but it's going to need big volume to break this 200. You can see here the volume of the 5 early on. Right now it has no volume, right? Volume's gone from it. You need big volume like this for 20 minutes or so to push through this 200 area right now for whatever reason, whatever's going on there today.
Okay.
But,
I
I
like it. And so are you looking at volume for the whole day or for when it's breaking above that level or both?
both. So,
Okay.
what I like to do is look at average daily volume. When I see a name that's 95% or moving early, already has a high percentage of daily volume, I know that name's in play, right? That tells me that name's in play. This is a name I should be watching today.
Okay. All right. I like it. It's interesting.
And just quickly to touch on it, Zoom was on my radar today, and you want to talk about the stay-at-home trade being over. Nothing says it more than Zoom today,
Okay.
right? I mean, this thing. Look at this sell-off today on fabulous earnings and great guidance range.
Yeah, I was just about to say. So they reported earnings yesterday, right?
Huge beat EPS, huge beat revenue.
And holy crap, the guidance. So check out this guidance, guys. So they said in Q1 they expect to earn 95 cents a share versus 72-cent estimate. And for 2021 they expect to earn at least 3.59 a share versus a 2.91 estimate. Beautiful, beautiful guidance there.
And what's it doing?
And the stock is down 4.5%.
Right, given everything back, and it was actually up more. If you look pre-market last night, right, it hit 358.
Yep.
So, that's why when everybody talks to me about Zoom or Peloton or all these stay-at-home names, for me right now, I'm rather focused on the Airbnbs, the Disneys, the casinos are in play, right? This market has rotated. The energy names are in play. But these stay-at-home names, they don't want them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's probably on the vaccine optimism, I would imagine, or do you think it's just broader market sentiment? I mean, what do you chalk that up to, or do you not chalk it up to anything because you don't care? You just are looking more so at the price action.
Well, I follow the price action, but I definitely think it's on vaccine sentiment. There's also the amount of the way cases have been dropping over the last month or so in the country, right after that big peak coming back down. We're heading into summer where people will be outdoors more. And honestly, Luke, I think some of it's just plain old exhaustion. People have just tired of staying in, and they're going to get out one way or the other soon.
Yep. Okay. All right. I think that's. What about the reopening stocks? I'm curious if you have a beat on some of these like the airlines or the cruise lines, or some of those types of names. I mean, they're not horribly far off of their pre-COVID highs.
I mean, and that's part of the problem, right? They've run a lot already into this. Like United Airlines, for example, here, all the way up in the 55 area. This time last year, before we started dump, it was right at 63, maybe just a little higher. And, I don't know. I don't love the airlines yet because I think there's still some more pain there. I don't think people are I think you're going to get a bump, but you don't think business travel is coming back, right?
That's my problem with them too. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
So people like you and me are going to be dying to get out, right? I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to pick a place, right? I'm going on vacation. But the bread and butter airlines and where they make their money, their biggest rates are on business travel. I don't see that coming back anytime this year.
Exactly. And like I used to travel about twice a month for work in 2019, right? It's a decent volume.
Yeah.
And it was nothing to pay $500 for a ticket when I'm not paying for it. but when I'm traveling for pleasure, I'm looking for some the cheap. I want to pay under $200, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be so long, I think, before I'm traveling for work again. Because I mean, for it to make sense for me, they have to fill up the office buildings in Manhattan again. And when is that going to happen, if ever? Right?
Well, it's I have friends that are still, I do this full time, but I have friends that work for companies like Salesforce and other companies out there, and they haven't taken a hit from sales doing everything virtually.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
So why are they going to send people out when they don't have to?
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's going to hurt are conferences. Who's going to send people to conferences to get together in mass quantities?
Yeah, I mean, plays on that one. Eventbrite is one that comes to mind. Ticker EB. I don't know if you have other stocks that come to mind on that one.
Yeah, I'm not big on those, but what I do like though is what I'm starting to see in the casinos, like MGM. Big move up here, holding in very strong here. Nice move.
You said you like these ones.
Yeah, I like the casinos as they start to reopen again, because people in Southern California, they're going to want to get away, get out. And where do people from Southern California go when they want to get away for a weekend?
Vegas,
baby.
Or so, Tijuana, depending on. No, never mind.
Tijuana.
But the other thing for these casinos is the online. We just got online gambling in Michigan maybe like a month ago or so. And like I opened an account. I was playing around with it. I was literally all right. Might be disgusting, but I was literally in the bathroom playing blackjack, right, to try it out. I lost like $20 sitting on the toilet in less than 2 minutes, because you're the only one at the table when you do online blackjack too.
Right.
And I was like, I closed it. I pulled the money out of my account, closed the account right over. I'm like, okay, that was scary. That was a little dangerous. So yeah.
So I like these names. I like these as they reopen, as they get back to normal. And let's just talk Disney since we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, let's do it.
Think about what this name can do. And I've been talking about this for a while. They put an all-time high in on the strength of Disney Plus, right? Which has been phenomenal. But what happens when they get their theme parks fully open, they get movies back in the theaters, and they get their cruise lines going again? Because that's their profit centers.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, this name, while it seems expensive, I think this can go a lot higher at some point. So, love the way this one's working. I'd keep an eye on it.
And so, but I mean, you trade pretty actively. You're somebody in the chat goes, depends on your goal. Vegas versus Tijuana. That's funny. That's sort of what I was implying. But Walt Disney, right? You're talking about it from like a longer term or like a longer time horizon perspective. But you trade very actively. So how do you sort of balance those two?
I have two accounts. I have my day trading account, which I tend to clear to cash most nights. And then I have my long-term investing account, which I generally put stuff in that I'm not going to actively manage. I'll glance at it once a week or so.
Yep.
And, so I try to treat those very differently. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. And that's something that we've talked about on this show before too, is that it's very difficult to both to have your long-term investments in your trading account and vice versa. That's like I separate it personally with my IRA, and then I've got like a brokerage account that I manage more actively. But yeah, I think it's so tough to do that.
Well, because if you're getting hit, like a day like last week, let's just pick a day in the SPY last week, where the market was falling apart right? And your account's going down hard, you're tempted to sell everything, even though you don't feel like you made bad trades that day. Your account's getting ravished, right?
Yep.
So, if you keep them separate, you say, okay, I feel okay. By the way, talking SPY here, I was on the investing channel this morning. You got to watch this downtrend. We got to break above this to get clear here. You can see all the touches here on this trend. We came right into it this morning. You got a series of lower highs, and you have to take this out now for us to get any kind of upward momentum.
Okay. And can we do another look at Rocket too? Rocket, while we were talking, it cleared 37. It's pulled back a little bit. I'm curious from your perspective what we need to see. I would imagine, and I'm bringing this one up, is we're getting the call outs in the chat. I'm long Rocket out the ass, guys. Okay, we've said that every day for like 6 months since the IPO. But it's the highs I would imagine you want us to see us clear for this thing to keep pushing higher.
So, sometimes you got to look from where you came from today, right? And you look at Rocket and, just open up a 5-minute chart, go to yesterday's close, right? Yesterday's close was roughly 24.40, let's call it. And now we're at 37. So realize that if you're trading Rocket at this point and you're buying it here, the risk reward is not in your favor now, is it? right? You're chasing something that is just way up, 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 and up. So for me at this point, I have no interest in rocket. I've tried to take it off my radar at this point. I'm not going to touch it here. It could go to 100, and I'll look at it and go, yeah, another GME. I missed out on this one too. Oh well. But the risk reward now after this run is what happens when everybody starts hitting the sell button, and that's the thing you always have to be aware of. You know, you watch these things go up like this, but eventually they hit the sell button. And let me show you. Just to show the example of this. Let's go to Turley, and Turley. I had everybody saying it's going back to 300, it's going to 100. People who did not get out on this day at 67, gapped down to 55, you're trapped, closed down at 31. That's just not fun, guys. I've sat through one of those before. I've been there. Raise your hand if you've done it. We've all done that. It's learned to make me not chase these things and sit in them. And so if you're looking at Rocket today, can it keep going? Yes.
Can you pull up the weekly candles on this one?
On Turley?
Yes.
Yeah, this one's just incredible. The 300 day? Oh, I remember the 300 day.
Yes. All right.
By the way,
here's a lesson learned.
From 450 to 300 and back was round trip in a day.
Yeah. So somebody on this broadcast was short a small position in that one on that day. With the way up. We won't say who. Neither myself or Mike. To teach you a lesson there. But I have not touched the name since then.
I've traded it on and off. Recently, I traded into some of these little spikes, but honestly, I've talked about this with pot all the time. This name to me is the most dangerous of the pot names because it does stuff like this, right?
Yep.
You can make a lot of money. If you really want to own a pot name, to me, I keep saying this, it's CGC, and that's because this name has the Constellation brand $4 billion+ investment. They have the ability to buy more of the company if it gets legalized here in the country. And that to me is the name you want to be in because you have a large company with a big chunk in it already who's looking to either buy them out completely or own an even larger chunk of it.
Yep. But all right, Mike. Unfortunately, I've got to keep us moving. I actually have to close down the stream, pass it off to my colleagues who are running the crypto show, or I'm going to get yelled at. And actually, what I'm about to go do in 4 minutes from now is I'm going on to a sales meeting, a big sales meeting where they're going to have like 20 people on the call that would have been in person.
Nice.
18 months ago, it would have been in person. I would have spent $500 to fly there. I would have spent $300 in the hotel. I would have expensed the hell out of some meals, right? So it's $1,000 right there. And I'm about to take it, on the call in just a minute here. So,
well, have fun with that. Enjoy it.
All right, thanks. But all right, Mike, awesome having you on as always. Appreciate you dropping all the ideas and even doing the screen share for us.
Luke, thanks for having me on. Great to see you guys again.
Great to see you too.